Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering the best transfer targets ahead of game week 13. In the video, we're going to go through 4 players who you should be looking to buy this game week. If you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, please like, comment and subscribe to the FPL Tom YouTube channel, as we are trying to hit 1,000 subs here on the channel. It would be absolutely amazing if we could do that. Massively appreciated by me as well. But that's kind of enough waffle from me. Let's dive into the transfer targets for game week 13. And starting off today's video is a player I'm absolutely gagging for. Man in form, a man who's taken his game to an absolute another level. It is FODEN, absolutely killing it this season. Like I said, he's become an elite player now, performing on a very consistent basis. Over the past 5 game weeks, 5 goals, 1 assist and 40 points scored. 64 points scored overall this season. That's 3 more than KDB for a lot less money. Absolutely killing it, like I said, is Phil Foden. The fixtures for City as well up until the World Cup are fantastic. Brighton, Leicester, Fulham and Brentford. Really, really good fixture. Leicester and Fulham have one of the worst XG conceded so far in the league, so definite fixtures we want to be looking to target as well. Manchester City at home is a very, very formidable kind of task. And it seems like Foden, I know last season I had him in my team for patches and he would kind of drop in and kind of drop out of form and also kind of be in and be out of the squad, play some Premier League games, play Champions League games. It seems like this season he's kind of one of the first names on the team sheet with KDB, with Haaland. Like, he's built this very good connection with Haaland that's very much coming to fruition over the past few game weeks, especially in the Manchester derby. Was phenomenal. Was Phil Foden. Really happy for him. Hopefully he continues this form as well for England in the World Cup, and hopefully continues it when I do bring him into my FPL team. Very happy to have Phil Foden here, and very, very much you should be looking to do the exact same. Very much. You should very much be looking to get him in your team. But let's move on to our next transfer target for game week 13. And moving on to the next player, it is Bukayo Saka. I had Saka in my own team at the start of the season. It just didn't quite work out, did it? It was Martinelli who was the better pick, but it does seem like Saka is kind of stepping up to the mark and becoming kind of back to the old Saka that we know, back to the last season Saka, where he was absolutely unstoppable. On penalties as well, which is a massive asset this year in FPL. It seems like it's just kind of a points cheat code a little bit. 3 goals, 2 assists and 35 points for him over the past 5 game weeks. Like I said, really taking himself up a gear in terms of FPL point scoring and his own game over the past few game weeks. 63 points scored so far for him this season. That's 5 more than Martinelli. Obviously, you do have to question, is it worth kind of that extra 1.5 million that you're going to have to pay for Saka? But you do get penalties in return, so it's kind of one of them, which way do you weigh up? I think potentially the double up could be on as well with Martinelli and Saka. I just think they're so good and so reliable at the moment are those Arsenal assets. Arsenal absolutely killing it as well at the top of the league. Good fixtures up into the World Cup as well. Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea and Wolves. Amazing fixtures that you definitely should be looking to target. You need at least 2, maybe even 3 Arsenal assets for the next few fixtures. They're that good, and Arsenal seem to be the real deal so far this season. But let's continue with the Arsenal theme and move on to my 3rd transfer target. And moving on to the 3rd transfer target of today's video, like I said, continuing with that Arsenal theme, it is Ben White, or Benjamin White, as it does say on the fantasy kind of website and Premier League website. So very upper class kind of name there. The reason I've recommended Ben White is the fact that Arsenal have the 2nd best XG conceded. I also love the price point. He's at 4.5 million. Absolutely amazing. There does seem to kind of be this shift moving away from kind of more expensive defenders to kind of these lesser known, well, not lesser known, but kind of less established point scoring players within FPL. And I do think Ben White represents amazing value at 4.5. Like we said, Arsenal have the 2nd best XG conceded in the league. But there is some concerns with Ben White, or some concerns that people have potentially raised, is the fact that he is a little bit of a rotation risk, which I think is absolute just garbage. He's played every single Premier League game, started every single Premier League game. He does come off a little bit earlier than other players, so it might hinder him in terms of bonus points, but it seems like he's in Arteta's strongest squad, and Arteta loves to play him every single week, week in, week out. We mentioned the fixtures with Saka as well. Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea and Wolves. Some really, really good fixtures there from a defensive perspective. And over the past 5 game weeks, there's only been 4 points behind Saliba and at 0.6 million cheaper as well. So a real fine asset is Ben White. As well, playing for his England place as well. There is obviously a lot of defensive injuries, especially in that right back position. He potentially could take that spot because it doesn't seem like Gareth Southgate's too keen on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Really like Ben White as a pick if you are looking for a cheap defender this game week. But let's move on to the final player and the final transfer target for game week 13. Abichi Ease is the final player that I'm going to recommend. Huge differential at only 3.2% owned. And honestly, I watched him against Wolves the other night. He is honestly electric, man. This guy's sexy, and he's absolutely incredible at football. Over the past 5 game weeks, has picked up 7 more points over Wilfried Zaha. Like I said, scored in midweek. Super explosive player at a bargain bottom price of 5.6 million. I don't think you're going to find a potential better player around that price point. And Crystal Palace have some amazing fixtures up until the World Cup. Everton, Southampton, West Ham and Nottingham Forest. I think when you've got a player at 5.6 million who's so explosive, hitting a good bit of form, potentially going to get himself an England call-up as well. Obviously was included, is potentially going to be included in this 56-man roster that Gareth Southgate's kind of building, and then it's going to be whittled down. I don't know how it works. It's Gareth Southgate. The man's like a terrorist of football, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work. But I'd love to see him for England as well because he's such an explosive player. I honestly love watching these players who just pick up the ball and kind of just drive. It seems like they've got no worries about them, you know what I mean? And it's something that you usually see from a lot younger players who kind of pick up this ball, don't really know kind of the game. Well, they do know the game, but they're kind of raw. They've got that pace, that energy. And Abichi is doing that at the top level, and it's so good to watch. It's honestly brilliant. And I think if you are looking for a huge differential, I think he's a fantastic option. Good fixture for Palace. He's hitting the form. My only caveat is, if you potentially can afford Wilfried Zaha, I would still recommend him over Abichi, just down to the fact that he is on penalties and kind of fits more with the talisman theory that I've been kind of identifying with a lot more this season. I think penalties as well are absolutely huge at the moment in terms of FPL, so I would recommend Wilfried Zaha over Eze, or Abichi, however you want to pronounce it, but I do think he is a fantastic option if you are looking for a differential. That was pretty much all the 4 transfer targets for today's video. Let me know what you think of them down in the comments below. Also, like and subscribe to the FPL Time YouTube channel. Like I said, we are trying to hit 1,000 subs here on the channel. Also, if you have any questions, do leave them down in the comments below, as I do answer all questions down there. Good luck this game week, and thank you very much for watching.